Did you know that 25% of Monaco, also known as the Rock, is built on reclaimed land? Hemmed in by France, this playground for the rich and famous has only two options to accommodate its growth: built upwards or outwards into the sea. Indeed, they tried to build some taller buildings, but you won't see too many skyscrapers on Monaco's skyline. The reason? Mostly because they could block the beautiful views of the sea, and partly because there is a clear preference for villas among millionaires. Thus, the only viable option has been to expand seaward. Over the past 2 centuries, Monaco has undertaken several impressive land reclamation projects. The latest, a €2 billion megaproject, promises to add another 6 hectares to the nation's footprint. Now, a couple of quick questions. What is so extraordinary and inspiring about this project? Also, what was the vision behind that and how did they build it? Let's explore the Megaproject project, or as others call it, Le Portier Couve, together and check out the latest on its construction. It's truly stunning that the country with a total area smaller than New York City's Central Park is popular enough that almost each of you heard about it, but a handful of you have been there. How is that possible? Well, Monaco is one of a kind. It is well known for its immense lavishness and wealth. The country has over 36,000 residents and 1/3 of them are millionaires. The mind-blowing apartments and villas, however, aren't the only draws. Monaco hosts many prestigious events. One of my favorite, Grand Prix racing. The annual Formula 1 race runs through the streets of Monaco, zipping through the iconic Fairmont Tunnel, providing top-notch entertainment. Add to that one of the most popular gambling centers in the world, the Monte Carlo Casino Complex, which was featured in multiple James Bond films, then Port Hercules, one of the most luxurious yachting hubs that hosts one of the most expensive yachts and community events. No surprise, this income tax-free place attracts thousands of tourists, the rich, and the world's attention all in one. As I mentioned before, the idea of artificial land extension in Monaco is not new at all. Take a look at this blueprint. It shows how the land reclamations have changed the Rock's area and its coastline. At the end of the 19th century, the country had an area of about 1.5 square kilometers, and now 2 decades later, it has expanded to an area of over 2 square kilometers. With the shortest coastline worldwide at 4.1 km and a population density of 18.961 people per square kilometer, the principality has relentlessly turned to the sea for space. And that's exactly what they did. As you can see on the map, first major reclamation happened in 1980, adding 55 hectares at Fontville, La Ruse and La Condamine. At that time, the famous water harbour, Port Hercules, was created as well. Further extensions happened later between 1966 and 1973, adding more than 50 hectares at Fontville industrial area. The last reclamation was in 2002 when, among other extensions, Port Hercules was redesigned to welcome larger cruise ships and to provide land for the yacht club. The Megaproject project, or Le Portier Couve, is Monaco's latest and most anticipated undertaking. Adding 6 hectares of land, it will increase the country's total area by 3%. Construction began in 2015 and is slated for completion by 2025. Funded entirely by the private sector, with apartment prices starting at $100,000 per square meter, Megaproject is pricier than real estate in London, Paris, or even New York. Now take a look at this map of Monaco. Here is where the new part of the land for Megaproject was reclaimed. Le Portier Couve is located near the famous Monte Carlo Casino. It extends between Port Hercules and the Grimaldi Forum, integrating with the existing coastline. The district will be a mix of residential, cultural and recreational spaces. It will offer 110 luxury apartments and villas, 6 of them with beautiful views of the sea, townhouses, penthouses, shops and offices that will welcome 1,000 new residents. Add to that the expansion of Grimaldi Forum, a wonderful half-mile seafront promenade with parks, gardens and a luxurious marina for yachts. Now you know why so many want to call this place their new home, and the colossal price for this pleasure is well justified. On top of that, engineers and developers wanted the Portier Couve to be environmentally friendly. That is why they focus on renewable energy and modern solutions, designing plenty of solar panels and rainwater recovery systems that will reuse 50% of rainwater. It's fascinating how all of this is coherent as a whole. The curved shape of the Portier Couve is not accidental as well. It was all designed to follow the direction of a sea current that runs along the principality. The entire process of creating such a colossal structure is so fascinating that we want to show it to you. So how they have done it? How such artificial lands are created? Yes, it's very complicated. Let's skip the part about measures, environmental and engineering adjustments, regulations and permissions. It's a lot of boring but, well, necessary processes. Here in Monaco, the reclamation for Megaproject ended in 2020. To construct the needed area, constructors spent 14 months dredging silt from the seafloor to expose the bedrock. From there, they had to set 18 concrete caissons, each weighing 10,000 tons and measuring 26 meters. It is essential to form an underwater barrier to prevent the land from being washed away by large swells. The next step they did was filling the caissons with over 1.5 million tons of rock from a nearby quarry in France and marine sand shipped from northern Sicily. The last step was compaction and stabilization. This process involves heavy machinery and sometimes involves vibrating the material to reduce air pockets. From there, the civil and residential developments began. Okay, so the last pending issue is delivery time. As you know, delays on construction sites are the norm. It is really hard to take official deadlines seriously these days. Nevertheless, strangely enough, the project is scheduled for completion in November 2024, which is 8 months ahead of the official opening date. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Is money the reason behind such a rush, or maybe something else? Alright, it was a pleasure presenting you with the Megaproject extension project. You've been watching Legendary Builds, and until the next one.